In this video, we're going to talk about something very important: 6 types of bills that seniors should never pay because the law does not require it. Too many older adults on fixed incomes feel pressured when envelopes pile up or when the phone rings with a collector on the line. It's easy to think every statement must be paid, but that's not always true. Some of these bills may look official, even urgent, but in reality, they are not your responsibility at all. This matters because every dollar you save is a dollar you can use for the things that truly keep you strong: your health, your home, and your peace of mind. Sadly, many companies rely on confusion or fear to collect money from seniors who don't actually owe it. That's why understanding your rights is so powerful. When you know what the law protects you from, you gain confidence and control. Instead of reacting with stress, you'll be able to calmly recognize which bills you can safely set aside. Before we start, I'd love to know, where are you watching from today? Just drop your state or city in the comments below. What's one bill that confused you the most in the past? 1. Medical bills already covered by Medicare or insurance. One of the most common mistakes seniors make is paying medical bills that have already been covered by Medicare or supplemental insurance. Hospitals and clinics often send out confusing paperwork, duplicate statements, or even billing errors that make it look like you still owe money. But once Medicare or your insurance has paid its portion, you are not responsible for paying again. Think about it this way: if you've already paid for a meal at a restaurant, you wouldn't hand over money a second time just because the waiter brought you another copy of the bill. It's the same with medical expenses, yet many seniors feel pressured when an envelope arrives stamped urgent. Out of fear of collection calls, they write a check, even though they don't have to. This is not just about money, though the financial side is very real. Every unnecessary dollar you send away is one less dollar for your medication, groceries, or the small comforts that make life easier. It's also about peace of mind. Seniors often feel anxious when they see complex medical paperwork, and paying bills you don't owe can create a cycle of stress and worry. The best way to protect yourself is simple: before paying any medical bill, call Medicare or your insurance provider. Ask if the balance is still your responsibility. More often than not, you'll learn that the bill was already taken care of. This one step can save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars over time. Remember, the law protects you from being billed twice. So, the next time a confusing medical statement shows up, don't panic. Take a deep breath, make a quick phone call, and keep your money where it belongs, with you. 2. Old debts that are past the statute of limitations. Another bill that many seniors feel pressured to pay is for old debts that are no longer legally enforceable. Every state has what's called a statute of limitations. This is basically a time limit that tells debt collectors how long they can legally sue you for payment. Once that time runs out, the debt may still exist on paper, but you are not required by law to pay it. Unfortunately, many collection agencies count on seniors not knowing this rule. They buy old debts for pennies and then send scary letters or make repeated phone calls, hoping you'll pay just to get them off your back. Some even make the debt sound fresh by updating the paperwork, but that doesn't change the law. If the statute of limitations has passed, they cannot force you to pay. Here's why this matters. If you're living on Social Security or a fixed retirement income, every payment you make on an old, expired debt is money taken away from your daily care. That could mean less food in your kitchen, skipped prescriptions, or fewer small joys in your life. Stressing over these bills also takes a toll on your health, leaving you anxious and tired. The solution is to know your rights. Before paying anything on an old debt, find out what the statute of limitations is in your state. You may discover that the collector has no legal power at all. If that's the case, you can stop worrying and protect your money for the things that truly matter. Remember, time can work in your favor. Once a debt is too old, it's no longer yours to carry. Don't let fear or guilt convince you otherwise. 3. Debts owed only by a deceased spouse or family member. Losing a loved one is already one of the hardest experiences anyone can go through. Unfortunately, some companies take advantage of that grief by sending bills that belong only to the person who has passed away. They may send letters to the surviving spouse or children, making it sound like the family must pay what's left. But here's the truth: if your name is not on the account, you are not legally responsible for that debt. The law is clear. A person's estate, the property and money they leave behind, may be used to pay off what they owed. But the surviving spouse or children are not personally liable unless they co-signed or are joint account holders. That means you should never take money from your own limited income to cover someone else's credit card, medical bill, or loan just because a letter says you should. The emotional pressure here can be heavy. Companies often rely on guilt, knowing that when you're grieving, you may not think clearly. But love does not mean taking on debt that was never yours. Protecting your money is not selfish. It's an important part of taking care of yourself after such a loss. Think about what that money really means. Keeping a roof over your head, buying your medicine, paying for healthy food, or simply having peace of mind. By refusing to pay a debt that isn't yours, you are honoring your own needs and protecting your future. So if you ever receive a bill for a spouse or family member who has passed away, pause before reaching for your checkbook. Unless you co-signed, you are not legally obligated. And no company has the right to pressure you into paying what does not belong to you. Point 4. Unauthorized charges and billing errors. Another type of bill seniors should never pay is one that includes mistakes or charges you never approved. These can show up on credit card statements, hospital bills, or even your utility bills. Sometimes it's an accidental double charge. Other times, it's a subscription or service you never signed up for. Sadly, companies know that many older adults won't question small amounts, and over time those little charges add up to hundreds or even thousands of dollars. It's important to remember, you are not responsible for paying a bill that has errors or unauthorized charges. The law gives you the right to dispute those charges. Once you raise a dispute, you do not have to pay until the issue is investigated and resolved. In many cases, the incorrect charge is removed completely. Paying these bills without checking can slowly drain your money. A few dollars here, $20 there. It may not feel like much at first, but over the months it takes away money that should be spent on your health, your food, and the small joys that make daily life better. Challenging a mistake also gives you back confidence. Many seniors feel they don't have the power to stand up to big companies, but the truth is you do. When you catch an error and get it corrected, you prove that your voice still matters. And that reminder can change the way you handle other challenges too. The key is to carefully review your statements. Don't rush. Take your time, and if something doesn't look right, question it. A quick phone call could save you from losing money you never owed in the first place. Remember, you are legally protected. You don't have to pay for mistakes or unauthorized charges. 5. Debts discharged through bankruptcy. Bankruptcy can feel like a heavy word, but its purpose is actually to give people a fresh start. When certain debts are discharged in bankruptcy, it means they are legally erased and cannot be collected anymore. Yet many seniors don't realize this and continue sending payments because collectors keep mailing statements or making calls. In reality, once a debt has been discharged, you do not owe it, no matter how convincing the letter or phone call may sound. The sad truth is that some companies take advantage of confusion. They know many older adults may feel ashamed about having filed bankruptcy, and they use that shame to pressure you into paying debts that no longer exist. But sending money to these collectors only robs you of the relief the bankruptcy was meant to provide. Instead of using your income for food, medicine, or housing, you end up draining it into bills that legally have no power over you. Remember, bankruptcy is a legal protection. It was created to help people rebuild, not to punish them forever. If a debt has been discharged, that chapter is closed. You do not need to revisit it, and no collector can force you to pay. It's also important for your peace of mind. Carrying guilt about debts you no longer owe is like carrying a heavy backpack long after you've reached your destination. Let it go. The law has already lifted that weight for you. So, if you ever receive a letter or phone call about a debt that was part of your bankruptcy, stay calm. You can confidently ignore it, because your responsibility ended the day the court discharged it. Your focus now should be on your health, your security, and your future, not on debts that legally belong to the past. 6. Debts belonging to adult children. One of the hardest situations for parents is when a bill shows up in their child's name. Out of love, many seniors feel pressured to step in and pay. Companies know this and often call or send letters that sound urgent, hoping parents will cover debts that don't belong to them. But here's the truth. Unless you personally co-sign the loan or credit account, you are not legally responsible for your adult child's debts. Your income, whether it's Social Security, pension, or retirement savings, is meant to take care of you. Using it to pay for someone else's obligations can put your own security at risk. Too many older adults skip medications, cut back on food, or even risk losing their homes because they're paying for debts that never belonged to them in the first place. That is not what the law expects of you, and it is not what you should demand of yourself. The emotional side of this can be very tough. Parents naturally want to protect their children, even when they're grown. But love doesn't mean sacrificing your health or financial safety. True love also means teaching responsibility, allowing your children to face their own obligations, just as you once had to face yours. If you ever receive a call or letter about your child's unpaid bills, remember, you can say no with confidence. Unless your signature is on the account, the debt is not yours. And protecting your own well-being is not selfish, it's necessary. Your later years should be about stability, dignity, and peace of mind. By setting this boundary, you not only safeguard your retirement, but also remind your children that responsibility is part of adulthood. Your money is for your care, not their creditors. We've now walked through 6 different types of bills that seniors should never pay. Maybe some of them sounded familiar to you, like a confusing medical bill or a debt collector chasing something from years ago. Or maybe you learned for the first time that you don't have to cover a spouse's or child's debts if your name isn't on the account. Each one of these examples shows the same truth. Just because a bill arrives doesn't mean it's really yours to pay. The real power here is knowledge. Once you know your rights, you no longer need to feel afraid of letters marked urgent or phone calls that try to pressure you. Instead of reacting with stress, you can calmly sort out what is real and what is not. That confidence gives you freedom. It lets you use your money for what truly matters: your health, your comfort, and the small joys that make life meaningful. Remember, the law exists to protect you. Companies and collectors may try to take advantage of confusion, but you now know that you have more control than you may have realized. The next time a questionable bill comes your way, pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, do I really owe this? More often than not, the answer will give you peace of mind. Before we close, I'd love to hear from you. Which one of these 6 bills surprised you the most? Share your answer in the comments below. It may help someone else who's going through the same situation. And if you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss another tip designed to protect your wallet and your dignity. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.